Are you making any of these critical mistakes that could be costing you big? My name is Kevin Sanderson from My Amazon Guy, and I'm going to share with you 5 tips to not waste money on PPC and avoid critical mistakes that could be costing you big, both in wasted ad spend and missing out on sales. So, with that, let me go ahead and share with you real quick. These are our top 5 PPC mistakes. So, first off, negating good keywords. Now, what does that actually mean? If you think about this, oftentimes you hear people say, okay, let's say you've got a keyword and it's in an auto campaign, and then you promote it to a broad match, or it's in a broad match campaign, and you put it in an exact match campaign and negate it along the way. Why would you do that? If you think about this, Amazon has history on every keyword that you're going after. There's what's called a record ID. So if you're looking at the bulk file report for your PPC campaigns, you'll see that every single keyword, every campaign, everything has a record ID. And there's a little bit of history that the algorithm has. So if the algorithm likes, for whatever reason, your auto campaign or your broad match version of that keyword and not the exact match, do you really care? Because at the end of the day, if you're getting sales, you're getting sales. So let's get into the next one. And that would be not adding negations regularly. Now, oftentimes people say, yes, but if I'm leaving the broad match in there, maybe it's going to show up for things that are hurting me. Now, if you find that you never convert when the word red is in the phrase, negate the word red as a phrase match. Or if you start finding there's little keywords here and there that just aren't working out for you, negate them. Keep what's working, get rid of what's not. Now, then number 3, turning off old campaigns. Now, why is this a problem? It goes back to kind of the same thing with keywords. Never get rid of a good keyword, never get rid of a good campaign. Oftentimes people will have clients that join us and we can see that, maybe a previous agency had something that was working well. Why get rid of it? Or the client was doing something on their own. Why get rid of it? Don't get rid of old campaigns just to start something new. Because again, for whatever reason, probably in often cases, no one can tell you why, the algorithm favors a particular campaign over another campaign, even if going after the same keywords, even if the bids would make it seem like the other one campaign should do better than the other, but the results seem to lean towards one campaign. So if there's a campaign that was working well, let it do its thing. Don't get in the way. You can always test other campaigns, but don't feel like you have to get rid of a campaign. Another thing that we see oftentimes is limiting campaigns by budget instead of bid. So if you think about this, it's almost kind of like you're driving down the road. Your bid is almost kind of like your brake and your accelerator. If you think about it, it's more accelerator. So the higher your bid, the more you're putting gas into the car with a, really pedal to the metal type of thing. And then if you want to slow down, you kind of ease on off of the accelerator. That's basically what your bid does. It is the main way you control how fast you're going, how much you're spending. What oftentimes we see, which is the mistake, is folks basically say, I'm going to limit my budget. And when you limit your budget, it's kind of like saying, well, at 3:00, I'm just going to pull a car over off to the side and I'm not even going to drive down the road. If you're not driving down the road, you're not getting to your destination. In this case, your destination is getting sales. So if you're not at least driving down the road, trying to get sales, even if you're going relatively slowly, you're not going to get to your destination of sales at all from PPC, because if the budget runs out, you're just not showing anymore. So it's better to use your bids and lower your bids if you need to. Maybe you don't have as favorable placements. That's fine, but use that as your way to stay profitable as opposed to just turning off your campaigns by lowering your budget. All right, so then let's get to the final one, and that is not connecting CTR and PPC. So what does that mean, CTR and PPC? So of course, PPC means pay-per-click advertising campaigns. CTR is going to be your click-through rate. So how do I manage my click-through rate? Well, I've got some good examples here for you. So if you think about it, when you're looking on the search engine results page on Amazon, you see basically a bunch of pictures, which are the main images. You see the title, the price, and the reviews. And maybe you see whether or not there's a coupon or something like that. But the first thing, because we're drawing our eyes, is going to be, as you can see in this picture here, you are looking at these pictures. You probably, even before I said it, noticed this particular graphic, and you probably were looking at the pictures of everything. You may or may not look, now of course that's kind of small. When you're actually on Amazon, you probably aren't spending a lot of time looking at the titles, especially nowadays when most titles are kind of keyword stuffed anyway. So as we like to say, the pictures are for people and the words and the text are for robots. You want to think of it as, and I'll show you some before and after versions here, that the before, like in this case, I don't even know what that is. Whereas here, it's reminding me it's a smudge stick, it's a 3-pack, and it shows the product, but it also shows the packaging, reminding me what that is. Same thing here with these cookie sheets. Which would you click on? Ask yourself that question. So your homework right now is whatever your main keyword is, go on Amazon, look at that, and ask yourself, would I click on my listing or would I click on one of these competitors, and why is that? And then also maybe ask some of your friends and family members. Don't tell them why you're asking them. Say, other than my product, which ones would you click on? Because of course, if they're your friends or family, they're probably going to tell you they're going to click on yours. All right, but let me show you a couple other examples. This one here, is this like a neck pillow? Is this a throw pillow? Like, I don't know what that is. It's a microwave heating pad. So here on this example, we're actually telling them, and then we're also letting them know, hey, this is made in the USA. Now, of course, don't put made in the USA if it's not made in the USA. Always put truthful information, but the goal is to help people make informed decision. And the reason that click-through rate is so important is if you think about it, if you're Amazon, there's only so many people searching for a particular keyword, over a day, a week, a month. So what they want to know is, we've only got an inventory of so many spaces there on page 1 and page 2 and page 3. What is most likely going to get us a sale? They're not necessarily looking at it as what is the conversion rate on the listing page, which that's part of the equation. I believe truly they're looking at it as, when we show an impression, from impression to sale, what is most likely to get them a sale? And you can always look and manage experiments, and you will find that the conversion rates they show you really are basically click-through rate times the conversion rate on the page. That is the conversion rate they're thinking of. If we show a product, what is most likely going to get us a sale? Because Amazon doesn't really care who gets the sale. All they care is that a sale is made. If this was helpful to you, we would love to hear more your thoughts about what you learned in this video. And then also, if you would like us to help you with a more clickable image, you can always go to myamazon.com/CTR, which we'll have a link to as well, where you can sign up and we will create a new clickable image for you for a super good deal. One of the best investments you can make, because it will help you with your PPC, as well as help you with organic ranking and getting more clicks and traffic and sales for your listings. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Happy selling.
I know how tough it can be juggling PPC, SEO, and account issues while trying to grow your Amazon business. That's why we're here. At My Amazon Guy, we've helped thousands of sellers like you. Scan the QR code or click the link, and let's tackle your biggest challenges together.